What's up, guys? It's Dekkster here, and as you know, a patch recently hit and things got scrambled. You know, Mage was the top dog, Priest was the top dog, and have things changed? Well, Mage is definitely not the top dog anymore. But anyways, I'm gonna go through some stats that were provided by Vicious Syndicate. I'm not affiliated with them once again. I just do enjoy their content. Be sure to check them out, read the full report. It'll go into much more detail than I can cover in this video. But first up, let's look at class archetype distribution. Looking at ranks 4 to 1, we can see that Hunter is the most popular class, and then we got Shaman right after that, and then Paladin. Now with Hunter, we're seeing a ton of Highlander Hunter because it was a strong deck before any of the nerfs, and it didn't get touched by any of the nerfs, so why not keep playing it? So people are playing Highlander Hunter. I guess in a similar vein, we got Quest Shaman in there, which seems like it's the most popular deck right now, actually. And then for Paladin, we got a ton of Murloc Paladins, you know, just playing tip the scales on turn 4 or on turn 5. It kind of just wins games. After that, we got Control Warrior and Aggro Warrior making up that Warrior spot. I mean, Warrior seems pretty good. The boom nerf didn't do too much. I mean, you're not seeing as many Warriors, but it's still a really good deck. We got Quest Druid at 9.3% of all Druids, and there are multiple Quest Druids out there. There's like a more tokeny build, but more predominantly there are Phaoris builds and Malygos builds, both of them doing great. Rogue and Priest, less popular than that, but I feel like in days to come you will see Combo Priest just creeping up because it's so good. Like the arms nerf really didn't do that much. It's still got a very strong build. We got Zoo Warlock right below that, which Zoo Warlock's good. Why aren't people playing it? I'm not really sure. And then Highlander Mage, it's kind of nuts how much it's fallen from being, you know, the top dog to barely played at all. The nerf to Pocket Galaxy and Conjures combined really crippled Mage. If we look at Legend, we can see Shaman is definitely number 1 by quite a large margin, followed by Hunter, Warrior, Druid, Paladin, and yeah, of course, Mage last once again. So class frequency, we can look at by week, but again, this thing, it's fun to look at, but it's quite a mess. Let's look at by day. We can see Shaman once again just creeping up there. Hunter kind of dipping, but coming back a little bit. We got Paladin kind of staying steady, but it really did shoot up after the nerfs. You can see Mage just plummeting right after that nerf. My God, look at that. And then Druid shooting up again with all the Quest Druids out there. People are just, they're loving Quest Druid, apparently. Warrior seems to be staying pretty constant, about the same. And Priest, yeah, I swear Priest is on a comeback. It did take an initial hit after the nerf, but once people realized extra arms wasn't the end-all be-all of it, it's kind of making a bit of a comeback, right? All right, so if you want, you can pause on this matchup win rate chart. Green is good, red is bad. Can go into more detail again on the website, but generally if a deck has more green, it has better matchups just across the board, you know? All right, power rankings. Everybody loves the power rankings. Tier 1 for all ranks: Murloc, Paladin, Highlander, Hunter, and Aggro Warrior. So, you know, if you're above rank 5, go ahead and choose one of those 3. It does seem like Murloc, Paladin is a little bit better than Highlander, Hunter, but barely so. If we look at ranks 4 to 1, the only tier 1 deck is actually Murloc Paladin. And then right below that, we got Aggro Warrior as tier 2 and a ton of tier 2 decks, which is actually what's so exciting about this meta, is that there are so many tier 2 decks, so many decks that you can do well with, you know, maintain above a 50% win rate. Other metas have felt a bit more, you know, polarizing than that. And there's usually not as many tier 2 decks. There's not as good of a variety. So this is pretty cool, really. And if we go to Legend, we got Combo Priest, Aggro Warrior, and Murloc Paladin as tier 1 decks. So I guess if you're trying to just stick to one deck per these power rankings, it's gonna be Murloc Paladin, you know, tip the scales, prismatic lens, that sort of thing. Know me in there sometimes. It seems like the way to go. I do think Combo Priest is a great choice. If you master the deck, you're just gonna fly through ranks as well. And Aggro Warrior, of course, doing fantastic. So there are quite a few options, but yeah, if you're asking for what's that one, what should I play, what should I invest my dust in, it does seem like it's gonna be Murloc Paladin. Meta score, let's look at the meta score. On the x-axis, we got the power score, how powerful it is. Further to the right, the more powerful. And then on the y-axis, we got the frequency score, so how popular the deck actually is. As you can see, Quest Shaman is way up there for ranks 4 to 1 and pretty far along the X-axis as well. So it's very, very popular. You're going to see a ton of it and it's pretty strong. Murloc Paladin, oh my god, the power through the roof, right? All the way to the right, but not nearly as popular as Quest Shaman. Once again, my favorite thing to do is kind of go to the bottom right area. So I'm probably going to play some Token Druid, actually. I'm not going to play Bomb Warrior because that ain't me, but Token Druid, I was messing around with Token Druid previously. I do enjoy Token Druid. I'm probably going to give it a little spin. All right, so that's it for all the graphs and everything. I'm going to jump into about one deck that kind of stands out from each class. Now, I can't, cover every deck. There are multiple decks, like for Shaman, for example, there's Mutate Quest, there's Overload Shaman, there's Murloc Shaman, but I'm just going to cover one that sticks out to me. It might just be one that I think you guys might want to consider playing, or it might be one that I just think is a lot of fun. But these are all going to be pulled from the Vicious Syndicate article once again. So first up, we got Shaman, and I'm going to talk about Mutate Quest Shaman. Now, this is the most popular deck that you're going to be seeing. There's so much of this, it's just overtaking the ladder, and I think it's a lot of fun, completing the battle cries, getting double battle cries. It's great. It's very enjoyable, and the deck just has a nice feel to it. You get to this point where you could just burn your opponent with your hand. Maybe you get the Kobold Lackeys. They end up doing 4 damage each, and then you got the Wasp, which can do 6 to the face. You got the Drinkers, which could do 6 to the face. Of course, if you press that hero power button, you can bounce those back, use them again, and then we got the Barista in here, which will send all your battlecry minions back to your hand, which is just nuts. If you stuck the minions the previous turn, you press the button, you play the Barista, it's just going to give you so much gas back in your hand. Of course, we got Shutterwalk in here, which will replay all your battle cries, and because you have a battle cry deck, Shutterwalk is going to be huge. We do have the Flesh Shaper in here. You usually have a ton of minions on the board, so he's going to be discounted. He trades into something, and then you mutate him, or you use an Evolved Lackey on him. You get a random 8-drop, which is nuts. Same goes with Giggling Inventor. You get those little annoying guys, and then you evolve your Inventor with either Mutate or the Evolved Lackey. This deck seems really strong, and I don't think it's a terrible investment of your dust. As the next expansion comes out, they're gonna be more battle cries, so I mean, some of those cards will probably fit in here. This deck's a lot of fun. Everyone's playing it. Maybe you want to play it too. All right, for Hunter, we got Subject 9 Highlander Hunter. It seems like the other Hunter decks, it's just mostly like the standard Mech Hunter, which is kind of the same as the pre-expansion version. So yeah, we're just going to talk about Highlander Hunter, and this one's running Subject 9. You're running a bunch of secrets in there, and then Subject 9 just draws them all, which is insane. Hunter usually doesn't have great card draw, so the fact that Subject 9 can just pull all that out of there, it's fantastic, assuming you draw him before you've drawn all your secrets. But other than that, we got Zephyrus with a ton of value. We've got Dino Tamer Bran in there, which is just, he packs a real wallop, slamming them on 7 or any turn after. Getting that discounted crush is just huge. Maybe your crush sticks, maybe you hit it with the Zephyrus, you get a Wind Fury. I imagine that's not going to happen too often. I have been playing like a Highlander, Geppetto, Mali, Bran Hunter though, and that does happen a lot, but that's besides the point. Symat in here, quite good, and then Zul'jin, of course, just an insane card, replaying all your spells. Sandbinder in here for the consistency of pulling either Symat or Zephyrus. Usually you're gonna have one of those in your deck by the time you play the Sandbinder. And then, yeah, I don't know, man, this deck, it's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable. I personally enjoy Highlander builds. It is a bit expensive, but one of the more consistent decks, so not a terrible use of your dust. If you're just missing Zephyrus or a Bran, maybe you want to go for it. All right, for Warrior, we got, of course, there's Control Warrior and there's Bomb Warrior, but the coolest archetype to come out from Warrior, in my opinion, is Aggro Warrior. It's actually one of the top performing decks as well, and it's really, really cool, the fact that this is kind of emerged. I don't know if anyone really predicted this. Of course, everyone saw like the Bloodsworn Mercenary synergy with Leroy. If you enrage him, you rampage him. But really, just using Bloodsworn as a tempo tool. Maybe you use it on, I don't know. Maybe turn 1 you play the Eternium Rover. Maybe turn 2 you hit it with the Cruel Taskmaster, making it like a 3/2 or whatever. And then you hit it on turn 3 with the Mercenary, and all of a sudden you got quite a decent board. Or maybe you're using it on your Red Band Wasp. Really, you could just throw it on anything. I don't, you can even have an explosive start, play the Rover or the Crier on 1, and then turn 2 you can Inner Rage Rampage it, and then if that sticks, you hit it with the Bloodsworn, and it kind of just feels like you've won. Frothing Berserker, also really strong. You know, generally they're going to be a threat that your opponent has to deal with, and if your opponent's dealing with the Berserker, they're not dealing with your other stuff. Of course, once again, we still got the Leroy combo in there. We got Grom in there with Inner Rage. You can also Rampage him if you got, you know, that 10 mana. And yeah, this thing hits face. It hits it really hard. The main downfall of this deck is it doesn't really have that much card draw, especially this build does not have a Battle Rage or whatever it's called. So if you run out of gas, you run out of gas. We got Druid with, again, a few builds here. We got the Elise Quest Druid, we got the Phaoris Druid, and a Token Druid, which I kind of want to play myself. But we're going to look at the Phaoris Druid here, because this is the one that I feel is like, it's the most prominent on the ladder. So maybe you want to play it, or maybe you just want to learn about it, see how it's built. Yeah, it's got the quest in there, obviously. They always are going to have Crystal Merchant on that turn 3 so that they draw a card and get a decent sized body out there. And before you know it, they've completed the quest and they're getting, you know, the Oasis Surgers down for 5 mana for 10 worth of stats with Rush. They got Hidden Oasis, which just kind of like turns the corner for them, healing, putting a big taunt. Nourish, which gives you the crystals and it draws. This deck is actually nuts as far as like value. It's got, you know, removal through Starfall and Swipe. So of course we got the heavy hitters here, the way you win. You got Cenarius, which will buff up your board, and you're gonna have some stuff on your board that you want to hit with Cenarius. But we also got Phaoris, which is gonna put a huge board right through your Starfalls, your Oasises, your Nourishes, even like your Swipes and your Howls. You don't feel terrible if those you know, get, you know, like a random 3, a random 4. It's not terrible. And then if you really want to, you could floop, of course, either your Cenarius or your Phaoris. But if you get to the end of your deck, you play the Nomi. The Nomi floods the board. Hopefully your opponent can't deal with it. If they do manage to deal with it, then you hit them with the flooped Nomi, which sets up another board. And hopefully they can't deal with that, because then you just win. But if they can deal with that, you might be out of luck, maybe. This is not running Elise. I have seen some builds running Elise in order to, you know, get that extra floop, get that extra Horus, Cenarius, Nomi. But this build, it's not. Also, god dang, Lodi is nuts, 3 mana, and it does everything. Holy crap. All right, we got Paladin, and Paladin, we got, you know, the Quest Mech Paladin, which I personally enjoy quite a bit. We got Holy Wrath Paladin, which is showing quite a bit of promise, but supposedly per vicious Syndicate, it's kind of pulling back. And then you got the Tip the Scales Murloc Paladin, which is absolutely just bonkers, man. This deck is nuts. I didn't see this coming when I was theory crafting or anything like that, but holy crap, man. You have a nice, beautiful curve of Murlocs that you throw out on the board, and sometimes you can win before you even get to your main combo, which is your Prismatic Lens, pulling Tip the Scales, getting you a discounted tip, right? Play the discounted tip, that's gonna flood the board. And then a lot of people don't have huge AoE, and you kind of just win at that point. If they do deal with it, good thing you got another tip, either through your other Prismatic Lens, or maybe you just keep putting out threats and then you just slam the tip on 8. If they do deal with that, because you've emptied your deck of most Murlocs, your deck's going to be relatively empty. And then you just play Chef Nomi, and hopefully they don't have that extra board clear on top of that. We do have Zephrys in here, and you might think it's a little bit weird having Finley, having Zephrys, because it's not a Highlander deck, but because you churn through all your minions and your cards so quickly with the tip, usually your Zephrys and your Finley will be active around turn 8 or turn 9, so they're kind of good to have. Plus Finley's just a 2 mana 2/3 Murloc, which is no joke. But Zephrys, you know, maybe it finds that Bloodlust, maybe it finds the Fireball, I don't know, the Wind Fury, whatever you need, the perfect card, Zephrys will find it. And yeah, this deck is it's nuts. I guess kind of the best deck out there aside from Combo Priest, per the statistics anyway. All right, so for Priest, oh my god, I love Quest Res Priest. I've been playing that so much. The Bwonsamdi version, I got a lot of videos if you want to check them out. Probably my favorite deck right now. But I'm gonna talk about Bwonsamdi Combo Priest because I've done enough talking about my Quest Wall Priest. So Bwonsamdi Combo Priest. Extra arms got nerfed. What did they do? They shoved some beaming sidekicks in here. Next thing you know, you got 6 1-mana minions in your deck, so why not play Bwonsamdi? Because he's gonna draw a ton of cards, maybe at least, you know, 2 or 3, which is no joke. So playing Bwonsamdi here, which I think Hunter Race came up with, is just it's genius, really. The deck is still nuts. So learn to play this new version, and you're gonna be creaming your opponents, man. This is just nuts to play against. It's nuts to play. I mean, you play the Blade Master, they kill it, they follow up with the Psychopomp, and then it just feels like you've lost because you wasted all your resources on that Blade Master in the first place. If they do play a Met and you can't deal with it, maybe they hit it with a Beaming Sidekick, which buffs its health up, and then you got a huge Sidekick on the board in addition to that. And then you got a huge Acolyte of Pain, a huge Pyromancer. This deck is nuts, man. Learn to play this deck, you won't regret it, and it is fairly budget as well. If you don't have Bwonsamdi, I mean, you could probably shove something else in there like an extra arms and do just fine. I'm sure Bwonsamdi is way, way better. But if you're looking for a budget option, go ahead and try it out. If you don't have a Met, you should get a Met. All right, for Rogue, we have Aggro Rogue, and we got Test Quest. Now, Test Quest is a lot of fun, but supposedly it's not doing too well. So standard Aggro Rogue seems to be the way to go. Now, this deck had a great matchup against Mage, but unfortunately, Mage is kind of dumpstered now. So one of the best matchups got removed, making the deck actually a little bit worse, even though it didn't get touched in any other way. It does still pack quite a wallop here. You know, you got some strong turn 1 minions through your cat, or maybe even your deck hand. Next thing you know, you got a hooked scimitar in your hands, which is doing 4 damage every turn. Maybe you hit that with the green skin, or maybe you hit your Waggle Pick with the green skin. You got your discounted Corsairs. You just punch them in the face really hard, really fast, really consistently. You run out of gas, who cares? You top deck Myra's Unstable Element every single time. You draw the rest of your deck, throw down a Leroy. You hit them with some life drinkers, and this deck just seems to usually find a way somehow. All right, for Warlock, it seems like it's mostly Lackey Zoo Warlock. I have been enjoying playing a Quest Mechathune Warlock, but it doesn't seem like it's that great of a deck, although fun. So Lackey Zoo Warlock. Why aren't there more people playing Lackey Zoo Warlock? I'm not sure. It's got good stats. It does well. I think it's a lot of fun playing Takan. He's a bit slow to play on 5, but if you've already got some lackeys on the board, he doesn't feel slow at all. But, you know, maybe you just play this on 5 and then you follow it up with some lackeys afterwards. We do have a decent amount of lackey generation through the Cable Rats, through the Evil Genius, and through the Sinister Deal. And of course, you don't have to rely on the Takan to get a ton of value from your lackeys, because you have Evil Recruiter, which just eats a lackey and, you know, makes a 5/5, which is kind of insane. Sea Giants are here because you're going to have a ton of minions on the board, plus your opponent's minions, you're going to get cheap giants. So yeah, really liking this. If you do miss the Zoo playstyle, go ahead and try this out. Don't have Takan. I really don't think it's the end of the world. You might want to restructure the list a little bit, because I don't know if you want to run Sinister Deals unless you have him in there. All right, so last up, the worst class, by I think quite a large margin, is Mage. Cyclone Mage, Big Spell Mage, they all got hit really hard by the nerfs. Conjure's going to 4, really just terrible news for Mage. So we got this post-patch Highlander Mage, which it's not doing awful. It's doing pretty bad, but it's not doing like awful, right? Like Mage, I've still seen people doing decent with this high legend ranks, you know? So if you did have the Highlander Mage build, there's probably still time, I think, to get full value out of your Luna's Pocket Galaxy. So you refund that and you play this instead. It's still gonna do okay. Are you just gonna have that insane win rate like you had before? Maybe not, but if you enjoy the playstyle of the deck, you'll probably still enjoy it this time around. Supposedly Pocket Galaxy just doesn't work out that well anymore. It just makes your curve a little bit too heavy. The deck just feels, I guess, a little bit too slow. Like the curve is bad, so they recommend not running Pocket Galaxy anymore. So Vicious Syndicate is you know, they're recommending this one that's a little bit lower on the curve. So try it out. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you won't. I mean, it's got Conjure's Calling. It's still got Giants. I don't know. I personally got wrecked by a Mage earlier. The Conjure's Calling just still, it nutted all over me. You conjured as Giant. You got 2 taunts. I was aggro. And yeah, I mean, it still makes some big things. So yeah, that's about it. What's the best deck in the game? It's probably just Combo Priest or Tip the Scales Murloc. So if you need to if that's all you came for, you want to play one fantastic deck, that's probably what I'd recommend. As far as budget deck options, I feel like Combo Priest is actually the way to go. It's not too expensive. I mean, this one does have Bwonsamdi and a Met, and I do think a Met is a wise use of your dust. He's probably going to be played in most Priest decks until he rotates out. So you're not going to regret crafting him, I don't think. As far as crafting Bwonsamdi, if you enjoy playing Priest, I mean, he's played in this combo Priest, and he's also played in the Quest Wall Bwonsamdi that I've been playing and enjoying. But maybe if you're tight on dust, he's not that great of a craft, really. But yeah, I mean, don't forget to follow my Twitch if you aren't following my Twitch yet. If you do enjoy the content, hit it with a thumbs up. Really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to sub and all that. Also, it's September. Half off subs on Twitch. Good luck on ladder and stay hydrated.